Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle from the 2006 format. On one side, we got the Delta Metagross and Dragonite deck, going up against the Dark Dragonite and Electrode deck on the other side, so we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. And yes, I know that Metagross is technically the main attacker in the MetaNite deck, but Dragonite versus Dragonite just seems funnier. Anyways, before we begin, I just wanted to let everyone know that if you enjoy watching these Pokemon TCG videos, you should also go check out Whimsicast videos over on his channel. He's got a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers before the end of the month, and it would really help him a lot if you guys went over there to show your support. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle! And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Delta Dragonite side, we've got Holland's Castform as the active Pokemon, and on the Dark Dragonite side, we've got Rocket Sneasel as the active Pokemon. The Dark Dragonite side is going first, benching a Voltorb, and then attaching a Dark Metal Energy to the Sneasel and attacking with Drag Off, hitting Castform for 10 damage. And now over to the Delta Dragonite side, the player activates Holland's Mentor, discarding a card from their hand, to then search their deck for 3 Pokemon. The ones chosen are going to be 2 Beldum and a Dratini all coming down to the bench. The Beldum is going to be the main attacker once it evolves into Metagross, and Dratini is going to be the main energy acceleration. Okay, Lightning Energy came down to the Castform, and there's the attack Delta Draw, drawing 1 card for every Delta species Pokemon on their side. So a total of 3 cards were drawn. And on the Dark Dragonite side, the player activates Holland Transceiver to search the deck for Holland Mentor. Holland Mentor is activated, discarding a card from the hand to then search the deck for 3 of their own Pokemon. Okay, they're going to be choosing 2 Dratini and another Voltorb. 4 Pokemon on the bench so far. The Voltorb is going to be the main source of energy acceleration, and the Dratini is going to be one of the main attackers once it evolves into Dark Dragonite. Okay, let's see if the player has any more Pokemon or energy cards to use this turn. There we see a Rainbow Energy coming down to one of the Voltorb on the bench. It is going to be taking 10 damage. And there's another Drag Off attack, this time targeting the Dratini on the bench, bringing it up into the active spot and hitting it for 10 damage. Back over to the Delta Dragonite's side, the player attaches a Metal Energy to Dratini and then discards it to pay the retreat cost, once again promoting the Castform. And now Dratini evolves into Dragonair. And there's the supporter for the turn, Rocket's Admin. Both players are now going to be shuffling away their hands to draw 1 card for each one of their prize cards. Since nobody has taken any knockouts yet, both players are going to be drawing a total of 6 cards apiece. And now one of the Beldum evolves into Metang. There's the attack, another Delta Draw, drawing another 3 cards out of the deck. Turn passes back over to the Dark Dragonite side. One of the Dratini evolves into a Dark Dragonair, and there's a rare candy to evolve the other one straight into Dark Dragonite. The Sneasel is going to be paying the retreat cost, going back to the bench to promote the Dark Dragonair. And now Dark Dragonite activates its ability, Dark Trance, moving the energy from Voltorb onto Sneasel, followed by Dark Dragonair's ability, Evolutionary Light, searching the deck for Dark Electrode. Electrode comes down, activating its ability, Darkness Navigation, searching the deck for either a Darkness Energy or a Dark Metal Energy to equip onto itself. And now the attachment for the turn is another Dark Metal Energy onto the Dark Dragonite, and that's going to be it. No attacks coming through for this side. And here we go, now both sides have access to a Dragonite. The player now activates Holland Researcher, discarding a Lightning Energy from their hand to search the deck for any Metal Energy or Delta species Pokemon. The one chosen is going to be the Metagross, evolving from the Metang, and then gets a Metal Energy. And there's Dragonite's ability, Delta Charge, getting back a Lightning Energy from the discard pile to equip onto the Metagross. It is now fully powered up to start using its Crush and Burn attack, but first it activates the ability, Delta Control. Looking at the top 4 cards of the deck, the player keeps 1 and then puts the other 3 at the bottom of the deck in any order. And once again, the player ends their turn with another Delta Draw, drawing another 3 cards. Back over to the Dark Dragonite side. Let's see what they can do. There's another Evolutionary Light from the Dark Dragonair, searching the deck for the second Dark Electrode. So the player's not going to be having access to 2 Darkness Navigations per turn. Speaking of, there's 1 activating, getting a Darkness Energy. And where's the second one? Okay, first, the Dark Dragonair evolves into another Dark Dragonite, which then activates Dark Trance, moving 3 energy off of the bench onto itself, and now it is fully powered up and ready to start taking KOs. There we see the second Dark Electrode's ability, searching the deck for another Darkness Energy to equip onto itself. So between both Electrode and the manual attachment for turn, the player can attach 3 energies every single turn. There's another Dark Trance, moving a Darkness Energy onto the benched Dark Dragonite, and the other one onto the Rocket Sneasel. And there's their support. They're still not done. Steven's Advice drawing 4 cards from their deck. And there's the attack, Claw Swipe, taking the KO against Holland's Cast Form and taking the first prize of the game. Just goes to show you, if you want to win at this game, gotta get yourself a Dragonite. Metagross comes into the active spot now, and the player benches another Beldum and another Dratini. There's the support for the turn. Holland Adventurer discarding a Lightning Energy to draw 3 cards from the deck. Did they get any more evolutions? Not yet. There we see the Delta Control, looking at the top 4 cards. Okay, they keep one of the cards, put the other 3 back at the bottom. Lightning Energy comes down to one of the benched Beldum, and there's a Delta Charge from the Dragonite, getting a second Lightning Energy onto it. Alright, here we go, Pokemon Reversal, let's see if it works. Oh, it's a Tails! It does nothing, otherwise the player could have dragged up the Rocket Sneasel EX and taken the KO for 2 prizes. There's the attack, Crush and Burn. It hits for 30 damage, plus 20 more damage for every energy that's discarded. The player needed to discard 5 energy to take the 1-hit KO against Dark Dragonite, but they did not have enough. So they only hit for 70 damage. Okay, a second Rocket Sneasel comes down to the Dark Dragonite side. The active one moves all its energy onto the bench Dark Dragonite, so it looks like we're going to be seeing a new attacker pretty soon. Oh, here we go, that's why. Mr. Briny's Compassion comes down, picking up the damaged Dragonite back into the player's hand, and totally removing all that damage that was just dealt. The second Dark Dragonite comes into the active spot now. There's the manual attachment, Dark Metal Energy coming down to the new Dratini that was just benched, and there's both of the Darkness Navigations. Searching the deck for Darkness Energy, and another Darkness Energy. And I believe that's all 4 from the deck. There's the attack. Claw Swipe hitting for only 40 damage. The Metagross is shielded from 10 damage because of its special Metal Energy card. There's a Delta Control coming through. Let's see what cards they're going to be keeping off the top of the deck now. They still need more Dragonite and Metagross on their side of the field. The active Metagross is within KO range on the following turn. There we see a Holland Transceiver searching the discard pile for Holland Researcher. The player discards the Lightning Energies to search the deck for another Metagross. So the player might have the Rare Candy in their hand already. There it is, Rare Candy evolving one of the Beldum into a second Metagross, which then activates its own Delta Control. A lot of draw power from this deck. Let's see what else they get. Can they set up a second Dragonite now to get some more energy in play? Like I said before, Metagross does need to discard 5 energy cards to take the 1-hit KO against Dark Dragonite. There's a manual attachment, a Metal Energy. There's a Delta Control. That's only 4 energy in play though, it's not enough to take the KO. Oh, but there we see a Warp Point forcing both players to switch out their active Pokemon. So it's going to be Dratini versus the new Metagross now. So Dratini is going to be getting KO'd, it's only got 50 HP. So Metagross only has to discard 1 energy card from their side of the field. There's the Crush and Burn, discarding the Lightning Energy from the active one, and taking their first prize card. And now both players are tied, 5 prizes. The Dark Dragonite comes back into the active spot now. And now the player's going to be activating Scott as her supporter card, searching the deck for any combination of 3 supporters or stadium cards. The player chooses Rocket's Admin, Rocket's Hideout, and Steven's Advice to add to their hand. And then we see the Rocket's Hideout coming down. It's a stadium card that gives all Dark Pokemon and Rocket's Pokemon an extra 20 HP. So Dark Dragonite now has 140 HP, meaning that Metagross needs to discard 6 energy for the 1-hit KO. Dark Dragonite got a Darkness Energy equipped onto itself, giving it 10 extra attack points to cancel out the Metal Energy, and Claw Swipe hits for 50 damage. On the Delta Dragonite side, another Beldum comes down. There we see another Holland Transceiver, once again getting the Holland Researcher out of the discard pile, discarding a Dratini for... We might be seeing the Dragonite now. There it is. Dragonite's going to be coming into the player's hand. If they have the rare candy, they can evolve. Speaking of, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Now they have access to 2 Dragonite. It's going to be a total of 3 energy attached per turn. So that should be enough for the one-hit KO. There's the first Delta Control, adding a card to their hand. And there's the second one. So once both Dragonite activate their abilities and the player attaches from their hand for the turn, they can discard all 6 energy on their side to knock out the Dragonite and also get rid of 3 energy from the opponent's field. Okay, the Beldam evolves into a Metang. Oh, and there we see another War Point. So they're not going to be going after the Dark Dragonite. A Dark Electrode comes up now, the one with the Rainbow Energy. And the damaged Metagross, well, actually the first damaged Metagross comes up. And there's both of the Delta Charges. Getting 2 Lightning Energy from the discard pile onto the benched Metagross. There's the attack. Oh, they didn't have that manual attachment from hand. They only had 5 energy in play, so it still wouldn't have been enough to take the KO against Dragonite. But they did knock out the Dark Electrode, taking their second prize card. Dark Dragonite comes back into the active spot again, and it should be able to take the KO against this Metagross. There's a Holland Mentor coming through from the Dark Dragonite side. Searching the deck for a Rocket's Scyther, another Dratini, and another Rocket Sneasel. Let's see which of these Pokemon are going to be coming down to the bench. There's the Dratini and the Scyther. And now both sides have a full bench. There's the Dark Trance, moving the Darkness energy from the Electrode onto the Scyther now. And there's a Claw Swipe, taking the KO against the Metagross. And now both sides are tied at 4 prizes remaining. There we see the next Metagross coming into the active spot. Like I said, they need 6 energy in play. But they only have 2 on the field so far. So between the manual attachment and both Dragonite, they can only get a total of 5 energy, not quite enough. Unless they find a way to get rid of the Rocket's hideout. Okay, they're going to be drawing some cards with Steven's Advice and with Delta Control. Let's see, the player's going to be counting how many cards they have left in deck. They have been drawing through a lot of their deck. There's the next Metagross coming down. Another Delta Control. Another card chosen. I believe that's the third and final of the Delta species Metagross. There's one more in the deck, but it's a Psychic type, and it's not really used as an attacker. A Metal Energy comes down to the new Metagross, and there's both of the Delta Charges, giving it 2 Lightning Energies. So the active Metagross can hit for a total of 130 damage, just 10 damage short of the one-hit KO. There's a Crush and Burn, discarding just 2 energy. Oh, that's it, just 2 energy, hitting for 70 damage into this Dark Dragonite. It still has 70 HP left. The Dratini evolves into a second Dark Dragonair. And now Dark Dragonite activates Dark Trance, moving the Darkness energy off of itself. And also off of the Rocket Sneasel. And they're all going to the Scyther. Scyther now has 4 Darkness energies, each one giving it an extra 10 attack points. A Rocket energy is used to pay the retreat cost for the active Dragonite, and here we see Scyther coming into the active spot. It should be able to take the one-hit KO. Oh, but first there's the Rocket's admin. Both players shuffle away their hand, and they're going to be drawing 4 cards apiece. Trying to disrupt their opponent as much as possible. And there's Scyther's attack. It's going to be Bounce, hitting for 50 damage, enough for the KO. And then Scyther can also retreat back to the bench to promote Dark Electrode. The player now takes their 3rd prize card, and their Scyther is protected on the bench. There we see the 3rd Metagross coming back up. It is fully powered up to take the KO against his Electrode. There we see the Delta Control. The player needs to set up their next attacker just in case his active Metagross does get KO'd. Like I said before, it is their final Delta species one, so they need to get some way to get the discarded ones back into the deck. There we see a rare candy evolving the final Beldam into the Psychic Metagross, and there's Steven's Advice drawing 6 cards. 1 for each Pokemon on the opponent's field. There's a manual attachment and lightning energy coming down to one of the Dragonite, and then they both activate Delta Charge, getting 2 more lightning energies out of the discard pile. So that's 6 energy in play. But this Electrode only has 80 HP. The player only needs to discard 3 energy, I believe. Yeah, 1 lightning energy off the active Metagross and 2 off the bench Dragonite. And that's the 3rd prize taken for the Delta Dragonite side. Both sides are pretty even. A Rocket Sneasel comes into the active spot now. And actually, it looks like Sneasel might be able to take the one-hit KO. It has the attack called Dark Ring. It hits for 30 damage, plus 10 more for every Dark Pokemon on their side of the field, plus 10 more for every Darkness energy equipped. So altogether, it's a total of 110 damage. Enough to take the KO against the Metagross. A second Dark Dragonite comes down, just in case, which then activates Dark Trance, moving the energy off the damaged Dragonite onto itself, and also the final energy on the Scyther onto itself. So now, the Dark Dragonite player has 2 fully powered up attackers. They take the KO against Metagross with Dark Ring, down to 2 prizes remaining, and now the Delta Dragonite side is out of attackers. It's not looking good for them. Okay, there we see Holland Ruins replacing the Rocket's hideout. Oh, and here we go. Rayquaza Gold Star comes down. This might be the game. Both of the Dragonite activate Delta Charge, getting 2 lightning energy from the discard pile onto the Rayquaza. It does need 2 lightning energy and 2 fire energy, but it looks like the player's been setting up their side of the field for this exact situation. There we see a switch coming down to send the Rayquaza into the active spot. It still needs both of the fire energy, but they should be able to pull it off. There we see the super conductivity from the Metagross, getting a metal energy from the discard pile onto Rayquaza. Rayquaza does take 10 damage from this ability, but it might not matter. Do they have it? And yes, they do. There we see Holland's Cast Form. It does count as a double rainbow energy to fulfill the fire requirements. And there's the final attack. Holy Star taking the KO against every EX Pokemon to take the final 3 prize cards. And there's the handshake. Delta Dragonite is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.